What's going on? It's another episode of Wealth is Gangster. We're up in here with the big homie, you know what I'm saying? The homie, Michael Lane. What's going on, my G?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shalom and blessings. Just staying busy.
Yeah,
The crazy thing about it is that when you run your own business, it's like it's hard to shut it off sometimes.
yeah, yeah. You try to find that balance, but it seems like the balance is always at a time where you really ain't got the time to balance.
Right,
you got,
right.
you
It's
got, you got,
wild.
you got to force it. You got to make it, because it's always,
Right,
it don't, it's always something you can be doing, but you just got to figure out when the time to. I'm gonna shut it off right now.
right, right. No, that's real. That's
So
real.
what's been going on? I seen your video the other day. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get her to close down on it. You know,
The Korean,
yeah, yeah. When you were trying to
yeah,
get her to giving her the owner finance.
yeah, yeah. I always try to hit the people that I'm hoping to buy their houses with different options. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I never say I want to buy your house.
Okay.
I only always say, would you like to hear some options in regards to selling your home? You know, that's just a little sales thing. People um they want to feel like they got options, and a lot of
Mhm.
people want to feel like they make the decision.
Yeah, yeah. You're not
You know,
pushing them into the decision, or nothing like that.
yeah, nah, you making the decision.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
even if it's not so true, you still want them to feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly. That's why, fast food joints, they sell the same thing 100 different ways.
Yeah, over and over. Yeah, over and over again.
Uh-huh.
And that's what it is. But I like that because I always told you they're showing that grind, showing the parts, and not only showing when you get the deal, because like everybody show when they get the deal done. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's the in betweens where you got to fight for it, and it might not go through, or you fight for it and it do go through. Those are parts of the ground that the people need to see because we always show just the after the deal is done.
Right, right. No, that's real. That's real. I need to start, and we're gonna make sure we
Hey, how
start
you
doing
doing?
more of that.
What'd you say?
I said, and we're gonna make sure we start doing more of that, sharing the process, especially from like contact when you first contact them
Yeah, yeah,
to if you can get a contract or if you get a no. Because really, in my business, they say the fortune is in the follow up. So
yeah.
it's all about how you continuously have a system to talk to this person maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month, and then just try to create a specific deal structure based on their situation. And
Yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight is why would somebody sell me their house at a discount,
yeah. What was
right?
and one thing I like about real estate, really the principles, the grind, the mindset with real estate, it's you can kind of do that in any business. If you master the certain principles, a certain mindset, the certain grind in real estate, there's really not no other business or company that you can do and run that you can't use those same skills in. It kind of goes
True.
in any direction once you master that in real estate, and that's what I love about real estate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right, right. And we're gonna keep it realer than real estate. We're gonna
Realer than
try
real
to
estate. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna
we're
tie
gonna
it
try
into
to
the
make some
mindset,
life
the
lessons.
grind, the everything. Yeah, because it's all about that. Like I say, I don't want to just show the glamour. Even like what we do at Wealth is Gangster. It's not about people that's coming on here that's already set. That's already now. These is a bunch of people that I see that's gonna be there. But this is the time to
Right,
document it. Everybody want to give you that interview and get you on their podcast once you blow. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
there's not too many there's not too many podcasts and programs that show the development of guys that become millionaires, that become them six-figure earners, that become that right before your eyes. And that's what I kind of want to pride this show on. That if you start watching this at the beginning of this year, by the end of this year, you'd have seen guys become six-figure, seven-figure, eight-figure earners, or people that they gave the game to and they became six-figure, seven-figure, eight-figure eurners. So
right,
that's what we about, man. We at the foundation of it and grooming it on up. So I'm gonna kick it to you,
right.
and what I'm gonna do is you go through yours, and what I want to do is connect it to the mindset of just everything. You're gonna hit them with the real estate and this and that, and then I'm connected with
Right.
just mindset overall. So
Right.
do you need to you gonna share your screen, or how you doing it?
Yeah. I can share my screen real quick. So just in case the people don't know, I'm in real estate. I'm a real estate investor. A lot of how I got into real estate came from quote unquote wholesaling real estate
Yeah.
or assigning contracts. And the great thing about that specific strategy is you come in from the ground level and you have the opportunity to interact and learn from everybody, every player
Yeah.
in the real estate game. That's from, the owners or the sellers of the properties, contractors,
Yeah.
title companies, lawyers, hard money lenders, your financiers, whatever the case may be. You're literally in the center of the entire process. So you really get to make a lot of connections,
Yeah.
right? And because you're at the bottom, you really get it's really crazy because even though you're at the bottom, you get a bird's eye view of everything because you got to make sure that, man, although I get a property or I get a homeowner that wants to sell their house, can they sell their house? Just because they want to sell it don't mean they can sell it. There might be liens on it. There
Um,
might be other title issues with it. You know what I
and
mean?
other
So,
family members that run in
ex-
trying
ex-
to.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, but the main thing with wholesaling real estate is you have to find these properties at a deep discount.
Yeah.
So that's like 40, 50, 60% of the value of a house,
Yeah.
right? So the question is that what does a person look like that is going to sell their house? What is their mindset? What is their situation to where they're going to sell their house for 50% of the value? You're
Yeah.
talking about sometimes this is the biggest transaction of a person's entire life. This is where most their wealth is stored up at,
Yeah.
right? So how and why is this person going to sell their house for half of the value, right?
That's dope. Yeah. Nah, that's a good that's a good question. And I mean, I know certain situations, but just the mindset overall. That I like that you brought that to the forefront because I never think about that. We see your side of trying to get the deals, but we never think about it. That other person that you're talking to, what are they
Right,
going through? What's their situation that would even consider it going at that level? You know what I'm saying? So I
that's
definitely
right.
get that. Yeah.
That's right. So I'll share it real quick. Let me see. And this slides won't take long. Share screen, share screen.
And that's why I like the realtor and real estate part, because those are questions we can ask ourselves in everyday life. What, the decisions we make, you know what I'm saying? What put us in that decision or situation to make that decision?
Right.
Why did we sell out on that or not go through that or go through that? It's just different things. Let me add it to the stream. Okay.
Okay. So you got it on the screen?
Yes, sir. There you go.
Perfect. So I'm gonna hop right into it. So so as a quote unquote like a wholesaler or somebody that's trying to find a deeply discounted property, basically what I have to do is I have to find a what's called a motivated seller,
Mhm.
right? This is a property owner that's eager to quickly close the deal on a piece of property. The question is, what would make a person sell sometimes or go through sometimes the biggest transaction of their life, but only take half of the profit that they could have made otherwise,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to go to the next slide. So a lot of times, the question of why is the seller motivated is it could be a plethora of reasons, but it's mostly some type of financial, emotional distress. Okay. So the seller could be in a foreclosure process. They could be like an out of state owner and they're not so emotionally attached to it. They could have a bad experience with tenants, tenants tearing up the house. And I don't know how many times we drove in the hood, you know what I mean? And you see like the whole inside of the house on the outside of the house.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Right?
done
I'm
flip
sure
that
we
thing
have.
out. Oh yeah, they done flip that thing out.
Yeah. So apparently, the tenants was probably bad. They had to go through the eviction process. and then it was most likely like a forced eviction where the constable comes and they literally sit there and get everything out of the house and they'll put it on the curb. I've
Yeah.
seen it several times, right?
Oh yeah. You know, I run a thrift store. I done pulled up several times when it's
Exactly.
happening. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be feeling kind of bad, but I'm like, hey,
Hey, it is what it is.
that's what it is, you know?
Right, right, right. It could be an inherited property. So, you know, somebody was deceased in the family. I think you've come across this a couple times. Somebody
Yeah.
might have been deceased in the family, so they needed to pass it down, or you know, you have multiple family members, so um, they can't just like hire a realtor and put it on the market and everything is just okay. We're gonna find a buyer and sell it. No, there's some type of complex real estate matter,
Yeah.
and these people need a solution. So a neglected property like the one you see here on the screen, I'm sure you know you also drove around in the neighborhood and seen several properties that look like this one on the screen with keep out or got red tags on it and things of that nature. So those are basically just neglected homes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You have some properties that just been on the MLS for, you know, almost a year, you know, 180 days, 365 days on the MLS. You know, they're trying to sell their house through this real, but for some reason the house isn't selling.
Yeah.
So they are probably getting a little bit motivated to sell it at a discount now. I've bought properties that, you know, where there's been a divorce. I'm actually working on right now where there's a divorce, and typically what happens in the state of Texas is if there's a community property and they bought it while they were married, or they got divorced and own the property together, then the judge will order that they sell the property,
Hmm.
right? Within a certain amount of time, it either has to be on the market for sale or it has to be sold. And then there's, you know, so many more reasons why somebody would be motivated. Um,
To push it, yeah.
that's right. That's right. Um, so me as an investor, I can come in and my idea is I want to provide value. I want to create a winning solution for that specific seller's needs. Okay. So the benefits to working with somebody like me or somebody like you for that matter as an investor is that we can offer them cash for the property, which means that they don't have to get any appraisals, no inspections, and no loan requirements. So that boarded up house down the street, you know, a lot of times it's not going to qualify for a loan because it can't pass an inspection and it won't meet an appraisal. So they need somebody that's going to be an investor to come in and pay cash for it
Yeah.
without those type of you know, needs to fulfill closing on the property, right? So
Hmm.
another reason why they would work with us is because it costs a lot to sell a property. I went to a house with a realtor. It cost $19,000 for this woman to sell her house for 180,000. You see,
Yeah.
$19,000. That was like commission. That was like, you know, title fees. That's like um,
Yeah.
closing costs, all that stuff,
All
right?
the fees wrapped up, yeah.
Right, right. Plus, you got to put it on the market. You got to make it look nice. You got to like show it to all these people and things like that. A lot of times, the seller had their specific situation might not, you know, be able to accommodate that type of transaction.
Yeah.
So when we come in, we can come in and just make it a real smooth, easy, stress-free, hassle-free. Look, I'm gonna buy this for this much. This is what you're gonna get at the closing table, and you know, it is what it is. It's an
It's
easy
done with.
process, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And then we can close quickly, or we can even cater to the seller's specific timeline. Like if they bought another house and you know they need the funds from the sale of their house to purchase another one, we
Yeah.
can facilitate that, right? So because we're leveraging just straight cash for the sale, then there's a lot more control that we can have rather than it going through the mortgage process, you know, bank, lending, underwriting, all that stuff can be a hassle and take a long period of time,
Yeah. No, I see.
right? So then let's say that I do find that boarded up house and I want to make them an offer or explain to them some options, right? So my philosophy that I use for a great offer, green means gold. That's like a great offer. So once I understand, I don't want to just call a person and say, hey, I seen your house on the other side of town is boarded up. I got $50,000, right? That's typically not going to work, or hasn't worked when you're dealing with people that might have some type of distress in their
Yeah.
life, right? I want
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm building rapport, building a connection with them, letting them know that I'm here to serve them, here to provide them a solution. So I'm going to take that motivation, whatever their motivation is. Maybe it's the bad tenants. Maybe it's, they're out of state and they have a property here that they can't take care of and they really need the cash right now to, help with some projects that they got going on the other side of the country. I want to take that and then I want to add on the condition of the property to that.
Yeah.
And then I want to explain to them what my benefits are for working with me. So as I lay all of that out, then I want to make them an offer. Hey, because you have these bad horrible tenants, right, that I'm going to have to inherit, okay, and you don't even know what condition your house is, but I drove by it and I know that it's in pretty rough condition, but I can buy it with the tenants in it and inherit them. I can buy it as is. I'm explaining to them my benefits and I can close very quickly. You can have money in like, 10 days or less if you like. What my offer is $50,000. When in all reality, if they was to like put it on the market, their house really might, or get it really appraised, it might appraise at 100,
Yeah.
you know, but they might be influenced or motivated to sell me their house for $50,000 because I'm providing them all this value,
Yeah.
providing them all these solutions, right?
Less headaches and less stuff that they got to go through.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Less headaches and less stuff that they have to go through. So that's
That's dope.
basically
And
it.
basically, you just rinse and repeat. You just do that over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Right. 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 You create a system
Yeah.
to get in front of these people, whether it's face to face or over the phone. You just create a marketing system to where you can talk to maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 of those people on a daily basis. And if you can hit two or three, then
Yeah.
you working with something,
Yeah.
right?
And what's the because I know you heard a lot of no's or probably some people hang up on you or just different things. Like especially when you starting off. I know once you get settled in the game and you hit your first couple good licks, the no's don't hurt as much because you kind of know it's a part of the program. But at the beginning, before you get them first little what do the no's and
Uh,
the hangups? What does that do to your psyche? Like you got to have somebody on side to you that peps you up, or like how do you get through
yeah,
at the beginning before you? Because once you get that big check, it's cool because you like, okay, well, now I get it. This part of the process. I'm gonna
right.
get some no's, I'm gonna get this. But before you get your first check, you like, you get no's, you kind of indecisive. You're still trying to build your security up in it. So how was that at the beginning stage? How you doing, Miss Brown?
Hey, Miss Brown.
Yeah, so what's the psyche of that part right there? Because man, I do a lot of business, but I never really just called to do stuff like that. And I think that's a different type of level of, even if you're used to business, that's a different type of level of business that you got to get used to. Because I
Right,
sell stuff all day, but when I sell stuff, it's normally people that's already coming looking for it. So me going
right.
after you to get you to sell something that you probably just stumbled across, probably you're not like you say not attached to it. You might be in another state, focused on the other thing. Your aunt died or something, gave it to you. So you kind of like in a way you can feel like, oh, am I hassling these people, messing with these people, and they'll give you that
Yeah,
attitude sometimes. So
yeah.
like give us a view of how you handled that and how you got through that, knowing that it's just a part of the process.
Right, right. So early I had heard something. I heard, every no is you just one no away from a yes,
Mhm.
you know. So that really helped me out. But what helped me out most was having like a vision, having a why, understanding what we were building, and understanding that, hey, look, I had to take a couple L's. I have to take several L's. If I heard yes, 200 times, I've heard no 20,000 times,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, for real. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So that's why I was like, man, just to hear that, because I don't hear no like that, but I'm not in that business. But I like, and even though I feel like I have a strong mental, like to hear no so
right,
much just to get a yes, it kind of
right,
it's gonna do something to you, even if it's a little bit. That's why I was
right,
wondering about
right.
that.
It's like, it's like, I mean, it's like when you get into a boxing ring, you gonna get hit,
Yeah, yeah, that's
right?
part
You
of it.
know without a doubt you're gonna get hit.
Yeah,
Um, but what makes you confident in the boxing ring is you go through specific type of training, So we do that too with our team. We even get into like role playing and everything,
yeah,
where I got, my team of virtual assistants and, you know, uh, I'll pretend like I'm the home seller, they'll pretend like they the buyer, and we'll just go back and forth because it creates a level of, confidence to be able to, not allow that no or that negativity to change your
yeah,
energy,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
so
you bounce that. Whatever they coming at you, you just bounce that and still spin it in a way that keeps it at a positive tone, even if it's not so positive. Where you find a way to make it where it's still positive, it's still upbeat. You don't let that beat you down because then you become disgruntled about the next person you call. Now you kind
that's
of
right.
and then if you got an attitude calling them, then you already messing up because they got something you trying to get. So
That's
you
right.
can't let
That's
that rub
right.
off on you. So
And affirmations too. I'm big on affirmations. I'm big on, when we first getting up, especially when we first get on shift, to start speaking certain things like, I'm going to add more value today than I did yesterday, or, I deserve to win today. I deserve to be successful. And, I'm the highest form of creation that the Most High has made on this planet. It's only one of me. And if you value something by supply versus demand and it's only one of me, then I'm probably the most valuable thing on this planet.
yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? Just
Real.
getting in that type of energy,
Yeah,
right? So that even if you hear a no, oh, I mean, it's no right now.
yeah,
And if it's no forever, then don't need to be doing business with you in the first place because I'm not here to sell you nothing. I'm not really here to buy you anything either. I'm here to really help you. And if you don't need my help, then don't waste my time,
yeah, yeah.
right? And I won't waste yours. So it's just that type of understanding and mindset.
And go on to the next. Just realize that just go on to the next. Like you say, either
Right.
follow up or if it's nothing, it's just nothing. Let me get on to the tens of thousands of people that's in line for me to talk to.
Right, right. And the thing about this is that if so you, I never had to convince somebody to sell me their house because I'm not talking to people that need convincing. I'm talking to people that need help, right? So we identify a certain type of people, a certain type of person, that might be that I might be able to tell through data that has some type of financial distress. Whether they're in pre-foreclosure, whether they're behind on taxes, whether they have like, code enforcement, like code enforcement has been out to their house and said, hey, you need to clean this house up,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
whether they have like a vacant mailing address, something like that. Their water been shut off in the last, 3 to 6 months, their water been shut off. I could find that out. You know what I mean? So that tells me something.
it tells you the story. That gives you more of the story, the background for who you're dealing with. Yeah,
There you go. So I don't even talk to people that, just bought their house 2 years ago and never missed a payment on their mortgage. And, they're not even on my list
yeah,
of people to talk to. The people that I'm talking to, people that I actually drove by their house and I see, oh snap, like there's something going on over here,
yeah.
you know.
And let me see if I can get this off their hand. If I can help them out with this situation and pass it
There
on to
you
somebody that
go.
can do something with it. Like
There you go.
you got it sitting up. I can give you this. I can pass it on to somebody else, and before you know it, they didn't remodel it, and now it's starting all over to somebody else that was nothing to you. Now you got it off of it. Now I pass it to them. Now they put it in the hands of somebody else that's gonna fix it up and cherish it and have the garden out there and have this and have
That's
that.
right.
Yeah, so
That's right. That's right.
I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to. I'm not hassling you to sell you nothing. I'm here to figure out a way to get this off your hands because obviously, but the way it's sitting up, you don't really care about it like that, you know.
That's right.
Or
That's
either
right.
you don't have the time, or it's something that's going on that you can't
Something
attend to it.
going on.
Yeah, you
That's
know.
right.
And like you say, a lot of that is just people that get left stuff. And when you get left something, like it hurt my heart. My great grandmother died, man. She stayed in that house for 42 years. She wasn't in the ground 6 months before my aunt and uncles was selling the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they
Right.
sold
Right.
it. And I'm like, man, like work with me. Like, I mean, it's 11 of y'all. Y'all, I think they sold it for like 50, 60,000. That's not no money when
Right.
you break it down.
No.
You could have
Right.
kept that in the family and you know what I'm saying, and made somebody like me pay something monthly or something. I would have paid to keep that in the family or something like that, but they were just like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want the hassle, this and that. So they got up off that. Like
Right.
not even a month or two later, that property is probably that same $55,000 house is like it's probably 100 now, but I know a couple months after they sold it was at 80. And the
Right.
people that was buying it was already adding on to it and this and that. You know what I'm saying? So
True. Yep.
yeah, so they probably at 100 now. You know what I'm saying? Less than a year of getting that property. So that's what you mean about just catching somebody at that moment. Like my mom
Right.
just died. All we want is a quick 50. We don't care about the market. We don't care about none of that. Give us a 50 and you can do what you want to do with it.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
yeah, just catching those people at that moment. It's timing. Timing has a lot to do with the business you're in.
Man, come on now. That's it. It's timing and circumstance. Like I finally got this guy to even look at my contract. I've been talking to him for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. And that's the difference between I always say either you can do deals, but you can also do business. And that's what we was able to do. Me and Jerry was able to turn doing deals, getting 2,000 here, 5,000 here, 10,000 here.
Yeah.
We were able to do that and turn it into a business, which means we just put the systems and the processes and the team in place to facilitate the transactions to where that 2, that 5, that 10 can happen on a weekly and monthly
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You can turn it over more. You can make that same that instead of just y'all two, now you got a team that's just doing the same turnover,
That's
turnover.
correct.
Everybody doing that 2 to that 5, that 10, and it's more of us. That's common sense. That mean
Right.
we run it, we running now, we running it
That's
up now.
right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And
That's right.
that's what's important about systems, man. We so busy doing the individual mom and pops grind that we don't understand systems. And I remember when you were telling me some months back about the way that y'all had put y'all system together, and I was like, man, that's key. That's it right there. That's key because a
Right.
system would take. You could have $1 billion a plan, but without a system, it won't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? That
Mhm.
system is key to taking it to the next level on any business that you do. So what did you study like somebody? I mean, I know you had some mentors. I know a couple guys you told me you was following. Who really got you into that we need to build this system? We need to have this in place to get it from just me and you having to do all the calls and me and you having to do everything.
Right. You know my partner Aaron Bevins and shout out AEB Aaron Bevins in
Yeah,
San
yeah.
Antonio.
And
Yeah.
Tom, yeah, what's up,
Yeah,
Tom?
yeah, San Antonio.
Yeah,
Shout out to Aaron Bevins. He was a big inspiration in the beginning for us to not just do the deals, but to actually do the business.
yeah.
He put me on this book. It's called Traction,
Okay.
right? This book
Track.
called Traction. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this book breaks down what's called like a EOS or an entrepreneur's operating system.
Mm.
And it can be utilized in every single business that you can think of.
Yeah.
It's not just for real estate, it's for all businesses. So it talks about having a vision. What are your core values? What is your why? Things of that nature,
Mm.
because that's what's going to get you through the hard times when you might not be making any money,
Yeah.
when you might not be as successful as you thought you was. To have a vision, have a plan, have a 10-year goal, a 5-year goal, a 3-year goal. I typically like to stay 3 and below. I know, Toyota got a 100-year plan. 100-year plans, I like that too, right? But I really like to focus on the 3, because if I can get what I needed done in the 3, then I can move to the
Yeah.
6, and I can eventually get to the 100.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Sure.
but it talks about people, understanding, how you can hire and fire people based on that vision,
Mhm.
based on your core values, based on what your focus is, based on what your specific niche is, and things of that nature, having the right people in the right places. It talks about like data, understanding your market, your market share, talks about processes, what we were just talking about, implementing your systems and your processes, like documenting what it takes to, get from point A to point B, which is making money, you know, and then it talks about your issues, like problems and issues that you go through, as far as, just on a weekly and monthly basis, and
Yeah.
then how to plan for those, how to overcome those, how to set up meetings, whether it's weekly meetings, 30-day meetings, quarterly meetings, year business plan meetings, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Man, it's just a great, it's not even really like a book that you read from start to finish. It's really like a book that you read the first chapter. Okay, let me do this
Implement it. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
implement. Then you get to the next part. Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me get this set up. Let me get this set up. Boom. Once you get that, implemented. Okay, well, let me get to the next part. Like that. So this was been a game changer for us.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out. It's kind of like a guide, a bit a guide. It
Right.
guides you, like you say, not just reading. It kind of guides you into ways to set up your structure, but set up your mental for the business that you're in too. That's what it
That's
sounds like
right.
to me. Like it gives you
That's
the
exactly what it is.
mental structure of how to approach this, how to set up this, how to do this, how to conduct yourself on this. That's what it
Yes.
sounds like. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And in the beginning, it kind of gives you a grade. Like it gives you, it asks you certain questions, and then as you answer the questions, you add up your grade at the end of it. And then it kind of gives you a grade on where your, business is right now.
yeah,
It's like, you got normal, above average, well above average. You got, please read on, this book gonna change your life, things
yeah,
like that. But it kind of give you a grade in the beginning, and I was like, man, like I really need help as far as just being an entrepreneur, understanding that you really have to see it from a bird's eye view looking down, because you in control of every single department in business,
yeah, yeah,
you know. And then it talks about, the difference between a CEO and a COO. A chief executive officer is more of like the mindset, implementing culture, the vision of the business, things of that nature,
mm,
right? Market analysis, competitive analysis, things of that nature. And then you have like a COO, or a chief operating officer, which takes the vision and brings it into reality. He's more, or she's more of like the hands-on person that's really hands-on with the operation, and then how
everything.
those two go together. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
and that's big because we need to know this, especially like I'm still because much as I study business, the structure of the business part, I never really haven't. Well, I ain't gonna say I never really got into. I understand it, but I haven't fulfilled it yet because in my everyday life, finding those people kind of if you don't never find those people, you don't really ever get into those positions because you never found a person to fill those positions. And I'm
Right,
talking about
right.
that today about like the operation what we're doing now with like the house of resources and everything. I have to have a team and I have to put some people in place. And
Yes.
it's not even a thing where I can do it if I want to. I got to now. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Yes.
way I've been
Yes.
doing it, I can, if I want to, I can. It's cool. It'll help. But now it's not even a want to no more. It's a must. It got to figure
Right.
out when you're thinking about throwing 20, 30 events, all kind of children stuff after school. It's not no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Even if I tried, I would take away from the creative side of me that's building the programs, that's building. I
that's
would be
right.
losing. I'll be losing a part of me that gives the most value if I was trying to do all those things. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's
So
right.
yeah, that's key, and it takes some work, and it takes some being around guys like you that seeing y'all put it in place because like you know how we talk. I do a lot of things. I got a lot of things going, but you should always be a student. I don't care how much you think you gain,
Right.
you got. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And be real with yourself. I know where my weak spots at. You know what I'm saying? Like I know where they at, and the
Right.
only and this, I can only shine and be comfortable in my greatness because I acknowledge those weak spots. And like I
Right.
know I need a team. I know that I'm zero, I'm zero tolerance, so I don't like play with a lot of people. Like so that
Right.
even makes it harder for me to find that team because like my
Right.
standard is a certain way and I don't budget because I feel like you have to set it from the get. If I start off down here and let people slide and let people get away with that, that's gonna be a dysfunctional business because
Right.
people like it's your job at a job you got. If you see your manager kind of cutting corners, kind of doing this, you gonna do it.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You know,
That's true.
it's just no matter. Even though they say you don't do this, you still gonna do it because what? I see you doing it.
Right.
So that's the type of things we got to do, and always just be learning and willing to keep your your mind open to a point where you can take in information. Because some people get things
Right.
going and feel like they got it on top, and I don't need to listen to that. No, I need to listen to everything. Even if I
Right.
don't use everything, I want to take it in so I can break it down and see if it works for me or not. I'm not just gonna dismiss it because I feel like, I got my stuff together. I'm gonna take it in. I might
Right.
use some, I might not. I might use a piece of it, or I might just put it in the back and use it soon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I take that information, and if it's something good that can take me to another level, I'm gonna implement it some kind of way. So
Right.
as far as like, because I know you've been doing this for a while, and I've been thinking about it. As far as like building a team, when
Hmm.
you and Jerry sat down to start building a team, like what was that conversation like? Like, because I know you got the virtual assistants, and
Hmm.
I know you're still building on programs where you can get like more people in the circle. But what
Right.
are those conversations like? What does it feel like? How's the virtual assistant world like? These things I'm asking for the people, but I'm really asking for myself too. Like,
Right. 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 So, um, initially it was me and him doing literally everything. Right.
Mhm.
And that was the great thing about it was because I was literally so we got to pull lists and things
Yeah,
like that, right? So I was pulling lists, I was calling the list, I was skip tracing the numbers, I
yeah,
was on the Google spreadsheet, like breaking everything down, looking people up, all that stuff. I did it all, right? And I learned it from just like the ground up. So our idea was we wanted to scale up,
Mhm.
which means some of those tasks needed to be delegated. It's like, okay, if because we have like a company, right? So I basically work for the company. I mean, we still got a job, right? If you look
Yeah,
at that, the I love the cash flow quadrant,
yeah.
right? You have the employee, you got the serviceman, you got the business owner, and then you got the investor, right? So the investor is what we all aim to be, and that's when our money is making money for us, and we don't have to put any time or energy into making money unless we choose to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Because our money is making money for us, and money don't stop working. It works 24 hours a day, and we need sleep, so it's gonna work much harder than us, right?
Yeah. So
But but on the opposite side of that, you have, a business owner, and that's when, we basically work for ourselves. So I work for my business. So I wanted to understand, like, if I was going to pay myself, how much am I value to this business? How much am I value to this business? Am I at the point right now where I need to be getting paid to pull lists and to get on the internet and break down spreadsheets and stuff like that, right? No, that's not my position in the company, right? Okay, so what I need to do is I need to hire that specific task out, or am I in a position right now where I really need to be cold calling people, like calling people and trying to create this rapport and say, hey, would you consider selling your house? No, I need to be talking to people that have already said, yes, I want to
yeah,
consider selling my house. So all I need to do is get on the phone and just close the deal.
yeah.
That's where I need to because that's the most income producing activity that I could be doing.
Mhm.
But all these other activities lead up to this activity. So if I want to be doing this activity for the most period of time, then I need to create a system to give me the most opportunities to do this specific activity as much as I can long. So then what I needed to do is I needed to take and delegate so I could elevate and multiply my energy. So just take and show somebody how to do that and then just pay them to do it, you know?
Yeah, and that's big, and we need to do more of that. And I think we need to do a class on that. And I remember some of what you just broke down. I I I know I'm a good student because I remember you breaking some of that down to our kids when you came and sit down with them. That was
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
one of the
yeah.
things. So you know I was paying attention. See, I remember. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right,
but
right, right,
but now those are the things, and I always tell you all the time, like, because you're a good teacher, like you need to have a curriculum. Like you need to actually. I mean, I know you're working
we
on it.
working on it. We
You know,
working on
but
it.
just the way you put those slides together and everything, like it should be a full curriculum that people get from you, man. Because the way you break it down, and especially for our community, because anybody can get in front of you with the same information, but it's how it's given to you if you take it in or not. So it's important about who gives it to you and the tone in which they give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
Right, understood.
there's a lot of people that can get up and say that same thing, but the way to crossover, and I got it from like when y'all was talking to my kid, they got it and they connected, and y'all was just there for like what 30, 40 minutes just talking to them,
Right,
but that time was powerful, and they soaked it in because of the way y'all relayed to them. So
right,
I just
right,
wanted to
right.
throw that in because I'll be in class when you be talking too. So that's what I'm saying. Now,
Yeah.
so seriously though, so and that's what we need to do, and that's what we're gonna talk about on realer than real estate. We gonna throw the gems about the real estate into the grind of just the everyday.
Right, right.
Ms. Brown talking about she like that bookshelf in the back. She said all them books.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. But no, that is key. And what man, I got a book collection too, but I just turned into a so-so reader the last few years. Have you always been a reader, or have you got into reading because you knew that was essential to get into the next level? I got into it because I was just a source magazine reader, just to be real.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I remember the source.
that was
I
the only
remember
thing
the
I was
source.
reading when I was coming
And
up. I
Guns
didn't
and
want to read no
Ammo.
books. I didn't want to read them, but I would read the source of whoever I like. And so,
Yeah.
and that's most of my community, and that's something I'm trying to change to make that reading part feel cool. What's your reading journey? Was it something that you just got into it because you knew to get to the next level, I got to do it, or have you always had that love for reading?
You want me it's realer than real estate,
It's
right?
really the real estate, man.
I started reading first because there was nothing else to do in prison but
Yeah,
read.
yeah.
That's how I
Just
got to
passing your
read.
time, just passing time,
Just
trying to.
passing time. But I fell in love with it. I fell in love with reading.
Yeah,
I fell in love with reading. I never read a whole book until I got to prison.
yeah.
Not even I couldn't even finish Old Yeller.
No, I can relate. I can relate. I
Yeah,
can relate for
yeah.
real.
But when I got to prison, I started reading, and I think I read the first book. And funny enough, the first book I read, some people will know it was The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister
Okay.
Soldier. By
Okay.
Sister
Yeah.
Soldier, yeah.
I'm gonna say I heard that book. I know, sis. I definitely keep up with sis. So I never read that book. I need to. I need to
Yeah,
tap in. I need to tap in.
yeah, it was a novel book, like a
Okay.
novel book. Yeah, yeah. And that was the first book I read. Um, and then I just started reading, spending a lot of time in the library, and it just became, a good habit to have. And then I kept it even outside of when I got out about 6 years ago, and just kept reading. Reading does something to you. It allows your brain to really function and operate the way that it was created to.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, just having good information and being able to take that information and apply it into life is a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we have to realize, that the power that you get that being in the book. Like, I'm still not the hugest fan of reading, I read because I know it's part of my freedom. It's part of my
Right,
my quest to get to where I want to go. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right,
that's what I tell, because everybody gonna have their ups and downs, their dislikes or their likes for reading. But if you can, no matter how much you hate it or how much you love it, if you tie it into survival, if you tie it into putting yourself in a better position in life, then
right,
it makes it easier to start doing it. And then, like you say, it's a habit. So if you just start doing it,
right,
like I was talking about this the other day, like we have to figure out a way, especially in our communities, to not have to go to jail to sit down and get this. You know what I'm saying?
true.
We gotta make it where, you know what, I fell in love with reading at the House of Resources or a place like
Right, there we go.
I fell in love with this, but you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of our
Right,
stories, even mine, even though I never went to the penitentiary, a lot of my ways I thought it was altered because everybody around me was going to the penitentiary. You see, so
right,
I
right,
didn't actually learn because I went through it. I learned because everybody else around me went through it. So
right,
you know, I kind of learned through their mistakes, through their.
right.
So I learned how to sit down and be quiet. I learned how you want to run 1,000 miles per hour. Now I'm going to sit down. I'm going to go home.
Yeah,
I'm gonna treat this. I'm gonna treat this little street thing like I work. I would be in by 9 o'clock because why? All my partners were going to, they was catching cases 10, 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning. So that told me I don't want to be out that time of night. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
we have to figure out a way to learn the lessons without having to go all the way through the prison system, all the way through the system and getting beat upside the head, hit upside the head, and having to be sit
right,
down. Let's figure out, let's teach these youngsters how to sit your own self down. You know, you wilding in the
right,
streets. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Before they sit you down, sit yourself down. Like
right, right.
you know, so stuff like that was never really taught because we just go. And do you hear the same story, man? I was just out there. I didn't really take a breath and sit back and see what I was doing till it was too late.
That's true.
Let's try
That's
to
true.
change that too late where we catch you, we grab you before you go over the edge, and you're still free with your freedom, and you still
Right,
change. So and that's what I did. I took pride on, all my big homies went to the pen. I took pride on not going to the pen, but still learning the lessons as if I went. You know,
right,
still
right,
changing
right,
my mindset, changing the way I was moving as I went without going. And I think
right.
we need to push that narrative more and more. I don't know. I just went on a tangent because I'll be hearing
No,
that
that's
a lot,
wisdom though.
and I
That's wisdom
understand.
though.
But it is really, it is the truth in our community. Like we
Right,
live a certain life, we just go, 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 and then when they sit us down, that's when we get the most focused. That's when we get the most intelligent. That's when we get the most everything. And I'm like,
right,
how can we figure out how to get that without going through that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
because
right.
what that's telling you is it was already in you. It was just
Yes,
you never gave it time because you were just running, ripping, running, this
right,
and that, you know.
right,
So if we could figure out a way how to like not go to the pen, let me pull this greatness out of me without having to go get sit down by them. How can I set myself down? How can I G-check myself without having to go through that system to get to the point that I'm at my best?
You know, the House of Resources is going to be big for that because it's going to be a safe place to do that.
Yeah,
Because in the streets, we're so distracted that you can't get distracted.
yeah, yeah,
Because if you get distracted, you're going to get caught slipping, right? Because there's really no safe place. You know, I remember the highway, Ryan Solo driving down the highway was like my safest place. That's the only
yeah.
place where I felt. And then still, I gotta
Worry about getting
watch
pulled
over
over
my back.
soon.
What about getting
Yeah,
pulled over,
yeah,
right? But
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, that's probably my most comfortable, safest place. Just Ryan Solo driving down. That's what we need. That's what they need is like a safe place to come and to know that, hey, look, there is some mentorship here. There is a quiet space here to chill, to reflect, to
Mhm.
wind down, And
Yeah.
even if we had a book club, a
Oh yeah,
book club for the House of Resources, Streets lied to us. Need to
definitely.
be the first book in the book club.
Yeah,
You know, I started really reading when you had the book club at Cultivate with the Powernomics.
yeah,
I went, even though I wasn't there, I went and grabbed the Powernomics and I started reading. I'm halfway through it. I read it, I probably got this about my reading habits though, right? I probably got about 10 books at the same time that I'm reading. I never really read one book all the way
All the way
through.
through. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
just bits and
always
pieces. Yeah.
yeah, I might read a chapter or two, but I try to read it every night, and then it's just whatever I'm feeling at that moment. I might just grab that single book and I might just start reading, you
Yeah,
know.
but that's a form of you getting through it because, like I say, it's not it's not second nature to us. So that's you did formulated a strategy that keeps you doing it because some
Right,
people just fall off. Like I got to stay on me because I start something and I fall off and I won't read for it be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm like, oh man, I ain't read enough because I get caught
right,
up in everyday life. But that sit down, that refreshing moment, that chill moment, even when people say relax, you need to get more sleep. Sometimes it's not sleep. Sometimes it's just sitting back and reading a book, just to refresh your
right,
brain, just to decompose and just take in some information.
right.
And that's what I use the book for. It's just like it's refueling my soul, refueling my thoughts,
Yes,
but it's keeping
yes.
me from thinking because at that time I'm not thinking. I'm reading and I'm just trying to. It's kind of like a mental exercise in a way.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. No, that's real. That's
I know, I
exactly
know,
what it is too.
I know she was gonna jump in because she all four
Oh
book
yeah,
clubs and stuff. I already know. So she ain't playing about no books, but yeah,
yeah.
that's key. And you know what? Last year I started the program. I really didn't really complete it, but I wanna. I ain't gonna say I didn't complete it. I didn't follow through with it on taking it to another level, and it's because I've run across all these kids, especially black kids. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, what do you read when you get home? None I read at school today. I'm talking about no, I don't count school. After you get out of school, what have you
Right,
read? What have you done? And they be like,
right.
I haven't read nothing. What kind of books at your house? And I had so many black kids telling me they don't have no books at home. Like everybody
Yeah.
should have a book. Even if you don't read it, you should have some
Right,
books in the house. You know what I'm saying?
right, 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 right,
So for them to not to even have none, that's when I started the campaign of making sure we got at least a book in every black household.
yes,
Every black child should have a book or two in their bedroom,
right,
and
right,
preferably be reading them. But at the very least, have a book as a standard. Like it shouldn't be nobody saying I don't have no books in my room. That shouldn't even be. And I ain't talking about school books. I'm talking about stuff that was bought outside of school, stuff that you give
right,
them to nurture them outside of the system learning and all that. I'm talking about
right.
on your own. They should have a book. So that's definitely something I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna be bringing back to make sure that one is cool, that we push it as being cool, and we talk about it. They need to see us talking about it, and
Right,
and they need to hear the struggles of it. Like you said, I got 10 books. I don't read them all. Hey, I jump in here, I jump in there to let them know that it's not about being the perfect reader. It's not about being the person
right,
that's going to read through the dictionary and all that. It's about building up the just building up your demeanor to being able to read or reading what more fluently. Even like you said,
yes,
you
right,
don't finish the books, but you try to read certain every day, or you know what I'm saying. So
right, right,
that's you building up your repetition of at least I'm gonna read something today, and,
right,
and,
right,
and that within itself is a winning mindset. You know what I'm saying? That I'm gonna read
right,
something. I ain't gonna get through this book, but I'm gonna get a chapter out of it. I might get a half a chapter out of it. I'm gonna get something out of it, and I'm gonna call it a day. But
right,
those habits, then you know that you're not going to skip 2 weeks like me. See, I need to at least get to that point where if I just read some of it,
yeah,
but kids need to hear this because we understand the struggles with reading because we didn't grow up reading like that. We didn't grow up
mhm,
like that. That wasn't, and that's why I used to love like talking about Pac's story because Pac became the person he was because he got in trouble. His mama made him read the New York Times, the this and that. That was his
right,
punishment. But you see where
right,
they got him mentally. That
right,
type of punishment right
right,
there put him in another world.
right. No, that's real. That's real. And like you said, when you read it, it does something to your brain. Like your brain fires off, like, at a certain, there's something between your eyes and your recognition and your concentration and you just being focused in that one moment in time and everything else clearing out so that you can focus on just reading this one thing. It does something to you. Not only can you take the informational aspect of it, but you can take the spiritual aspect of it as well because you kind of come to this secret place where it's just you and yourself and you just downloading this information and then if you go and you take it and it changes you and you go and you it changes your behavior and you apply it to life, then I always say action is the algorithm of life. You know, you press on enough, you press on enough, you know, hip hop or rap videos, then your whole algorithm gonna change. You know, all you're gonna see is rap videos. You know, and a lot of our children, a lot of the next generation, the younger generation, they whole algorithm is messed up. You know what I'm saying? All they got to do is click EYL, click, 19 keys, click one thought leader or somebody that's providing some type of real value to our culture or creating, participating in the, renovation of our culture or the rebuilding or even the building up of our culture. All you got to do is just press a couple of those and your algorithm gonna change. But nah, they feed them, trap music and drill music and this and that and the third that's really not beneficial to them, and then they whole algorithm change, and then guess what, they're in front of the phone all day long. I love that video that you did, man. You got to do that more.
Which one?
You got to do this more. The video when you was breaking down how certain groups, how they was moving and how they was behaving, but if they took that same energy and focused it in a positive direction, like how successful that they would be. You know, he walking around with guns and stuff like that, boom, 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 and we all about protection. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's responsible. You doing it irresponsibly when you could be doing it responsibly and protecting your neighborhood, protecting your family, protecting the positive people that's doing positive things in your neighborhood, things of that nature, right? But instead, they do it in a negative sense, because and a lot of it is because of that algorithm.
Yeah, that's what most of it is, and that's why I'm saying, because a lot of us, what we doing is not too far off from what we need. We just do it to. We always do it to the detriment of our people. We never do it to the
Right,
betterment. Like, I don't got no problem with seeing black men strapped up and doing that. That's cool. That means you're here to protect. When I just
right,
got off the phone with New Era Detroit, and I'm teaming up with them, but they just plugged me with their people in New Era Dallas. So we're teaming up, and them brothers be in Detroit, strapped up, everything. But they're there for the right cause. They're there for a certain mission. They're
right,
not there to play.
right,
They're not there to, you know what I'm saying. And that's what we need,
right,
more serious people. I don't got no problem with you being strapped up. I don't got no problem with none of a lot of that stuff. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the way that we push it. Like, even when I talk to people about rap, I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear no, I'm gonna kill this other dude. If you're talking about I'll kill somebody if it comes to protect me and mine. Okay, now you putting it in context of, not I'm
right,
just gonna kill an N-word. I'm gonna kill somebody that came through, that trying to, I'm gonna protect mine. Like, you can
right,
still talk that lingo, but the way you phrase it changes everything. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like, if I
right,
tell you that, man, hey, I'm gonna protect me and mine. I'm gonna protect my wife. I'm gonna see somebody run up in here. I'm gonna do what I got to do. You
right,
can understand that than me just saying, I'm gonna kill this N-word, I'm gonna kill that N-word.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Because
right,
whoever come through here, I don't care what color he is, I gotta protect that regardless. So it
right,
gets away from me wanting to hurt another brother. That just goes for me protecting my family and stuff now. See, that's a
right.
different connotation than just kill it N-word, kill it. Because we can't say that.
Yes.
If you say I'm gonna kill a Jewish, I'm gonna kill somebody, the feds gonna be at your door, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna
I
be
let you
you're
say you
gonna
gonna kill another black person, but say you gonna kill, I'm gonna kill this white dude, I'm gonna kill this police officer, and see who be
you
knocking
might
at
get in
the door.
trouble. You might get your video
Yeah,
flagged.
you know what I'm saying?
And
So that right there lets you know that the system, they got things that you can and can't say. But as long as you stay over there and talk about harming yours and harming that, we cool with that. You step out of that, we're gonna change the game up. So I want us, like, even when I posted yesterday, and I was telling Miss Brown about this, uh when I posted, tell another black man you love him, right?
right, right,
I
right,
had a couple of people say, man, it felt so funny. It was good, but it felt so funny because we look at that. It just feels funny because it's not natural to us. You
right,
know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
what's more natural is, I'm upset with Mike. Man, forget that N word. You know what I'm saying? But if I say,
right,
you know what, man,
right,
I love that king. Everybody, like, it just feels funny because we don't.
right,
But I'm trying to normalize that because that's just empowering us. You know what I'm saying? It
right,
ain't about
right,
uh I love this person because I love a person, I got love for a person. That's two different things. Like, you
right,
cannot have this life experience with a person, but just got love for a person for what they stand on, their principles, who they are as a person, what they, you know what I'm saying? So
right,
that's a difference. but there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
but we feel more comfortable, man. Forget that N word, forget that this. You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm riding
Right.
with this. I'm riding, and I was telling Ms. Brown last night about the one deep. It's a real movement out there that a lot of us in our culture, we one deep. We don't care about this. It's me against the world. It's this and that. And she was like, "That's really a culture." I said, "Yeah, that's really part of our culture. I know it because I
It
lived
is.
that world. I lived that world for a little while in the streets. Like, man, forget
Right.
somebody piss you off, man. I don't mess with them anyway, man. It's one deep. I don't care about nobody, you know, because that's the street
Right.
mentality. But when we get into this world, we can't be one deep. I don't care how cold
Right.
I don't care how cold and smart you is. I don't care how cold and smart I am. We cannot do this by ourselves. We need a team. We need a system. We need an infrastructure to really go to the level that we're trying to get to.
That's absolutely correct.
But in closing, man, we didn't hit an hour. You know, like I say, we haven't even really started just breaking it down and giving them shows right now. We just freestyling and giving them us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a part of it because that's the part I want to do because the stories and the conversation be so authentic off camera. I'm like, we got to get. It's part of this new world. This new world's content, and I've been telling you for the last year or so. Our regular conversations are content. We just don't record them.
That's real. Well, we recording them now.
Well, we record them now, man. So, in last words, as we end this real estate, we still it's Wednesday again, but we're not saying real estate Wednesday because it could switch up. You know what I'm saying? We still floating, you know, depending on schedules. But how just end this off with something for the night, man.
So something that I've been kind of looking at is, you know, I've been reading that Dr. Claude Anderson, and I also, like I said, I was reading I watched your video about the nation building, right? Man, that thing is so powerful. That's like returning to our culture right there. That's our culture right there. You know, I posted something today about Grant Cardone. Right? It went wild about how, and he was just like upfront with it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people feel a lot of different ways. I've heard a lot of different perspectives on it, but what you're doing with the House of Resources is very important. It's very much needed because you given, and especially with your mindset and your perspective, because you're showing them that everything they're doing right now, they could be doing it, but they could be doing it in a more positive way that would benefit not only them and their families, but also their community.
Yeah.
Because we as a people, we're the number one commodity. This quote unquote culture that we have, it's a global brand.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you see Asian people wearing baggy clothes and sneakers, you know, or some of the biggest, you know, sneakerheads and, you know, resellers of sneakers be the Asian community, right? But who makes it really popular? Our people make it really popular.
Yeah.
Who makes Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, all these name brand items? It's our people that make it popular. So Grant Cardone isn't the only person preying on our people. It's a lot of the Nike.
It's everybody, man. Like it's everybody. Like literally, it's everybody.
Literally, it's everybody. So we have to we have to join in to the community that's creating and cultivating a culture that's going to be beneficial to our people and not going to be preying on our people, because our people are less than the 1% of the wealth in the world. But our culture is the number one commodity in the world.
Yeah.
That's why on the video, Grant Cardone, he connected it too. He gave you the game. He said, not only do I go after Black men or young children from, let's say, the age of 25 to 40, but I also, in the last 3 years, raised billions of dollars because the two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
The Black, consumer and the $1 billion investor. They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. You can't be that billionaire without the black consumer. Like the Black worker, the Black consumer, the Black everything. All the wealth starts with the Black. You know,
that's
like,
right.
just the honest part of it. And I don't even see, and I need to get tapped in because I don't even know what the thing is with Grant Cardone. Because see, my thing is with my people, man, we get so we're so emotional about everything. Like I don't need something to. I don't need an exec at Louis Vuitton to slip up and write something for me to feel like it's racist people that run Louis Vuitton. I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not. And like I say, I don't even know exactly what Grant Cardone did or didn't. But at the end of the day, I understand his mindset and I understand the world that he's in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And,
That's right.
and when you understand that, you're not surprised about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because what he's doing is being honest, but he's being honest that hurts us because now it hurts our feelings instead of us. Why you don't already know that as a black person is what I'm trying to figure out. Like I don't need Grant Cardone to tell me that you know to connect that world. I connect it every day. Like
exactly.
I know. You know.
So the whole point is, how can and what the House of Resources does is we do that for ourselves.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to be looking for a 50-year-old white millionaire or billionaire to give them information.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they shouldn't be having to seek out that person over somebody like you, over somebody like me, over somebody like those pioneers that's creating, you know, a new culture in the space of, you know, financial literacy and things of that nature. They shouldn't have to.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I mean? That's the thing about it that really inspired me to even make that post was like, look, we got it.
We got it.
We the number one like commodity.
It's about mindset. What are we gonna do with it? We got it. And that's why when I did the 100 families $10 a month, it's not even the money because that's only $1,000. But what's bigger than that is if I can get 100 people to lock in, that means 100 people are locked in with the same mindset of building this. That's more powerful than the $1,000 I'm actually getting off of it. Just having 100 people that's committed that I'm locked into this cause. I'm going to come support this. I'm going to send. People don't even understand what it's about. Of course, $1,000, yes, that's something I could do something with that if 100 people gave me $10 a month. But the bigger thing is, to be locked in mentally with 100 people that's giving, because that's saying if a person that's gonna give you that 100, that's the same person that's gonna share. That's the same person that's gonna tell somebody else about it. That's the same person that's gonna come buy a plate or come buy a shirt or something. Now we're actually we're building as a group as we should be, and it ain't just to benefit us. Like I say, we're going to be giving resources out to the people, helping with bills, helping with this, doing this, taking in the kids, after school programs, feeding kids. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So of course we're going to show you why we need the money, because we do need money, but it's not about the money. It's more about the mindset, and that's what Ms. Brown was talking about last night. She coined it, talking about it's more about the mindset than it is the money. We need the money, but me having 100 people that's locked in with me mentally is even bigger than that $10 that I can get from each one of them. And so that's the exercise part. Like when I posted that, tell another black man you love them. That's an exercise because we're programmed a whole different way. We're not programmed to say, see, I see you, King. I love what you're doing, man. I respect. You know, we're not programmed to do that. When we do that now, we're doing that because we're reprogramming ourselves to do that. We wasn't taught to do that though. That wasn't the way we was raised to do that. When you see people talking like that now, it's because we were taught, and that's why I talked to her about that. I hate when people say, "Oh, you woke," this and that, and they only say that. You'll never see a Chinese guy say he woke. You'll never see a Jewish guy say he woke. You'll never see these other communities say they woke because they're born in their culture. We're the only ones born away from our culture. So if somebody get deep into their culture, you look like, oh man, it's really like a little joke. Are you woke? Are you this? Are you a Hebrew? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really them trying to be
Muslim
funny.
Or you're a Hebrew Israelite.
It's really their version of trying to be funny, but it makes me look at you like, so what are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to be funny about people, quote unquote, proud to be who they are, people that represent where they're from. So if that's funny to you, what are you? If that's funny to you, now I got a question. What are you? What do you represent? What do you stand on? You know, so we got, and this is stuff we got to call out, you know, and we talked about that on the show last night. We got to call our people out to raise our standards in our community. We can't just be like, well, that's such and such. Well, no, we checking that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if you against that, if you laughing at somebody that's quote unquote woke, now we finna laugh at you. You're the joke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because
if you're laughing at them for being woke, that means you sleep. Now we laughing at you for being sleep. Let's change the narrative, like I always say, and turn it on them. Now we laughing at you because why you not in tune with your people? Why you not? Are you not giving back? We laughing at you? You're a joke. You don't give back to your people. Like you don't do this. You don't help the youth. You don't help the this. You don't help that. Now you're the joke, and I think that's what we got to do, because right now they try to do it and make us be the joke because we're quote unquote woke, or we're quote unquote. I got some older guys, 60 years old. Oh man, you trying to sound like Malcolm X? I'm like, man, you the one that seen colored only bathrooms. Why am I more into this than you? You actually lived through it. I couldn't even imagine my mindset if I had to live through that. But then I realized that a lot of those guys would just beat. It was just beat out of them. They don't have no more fight. They don't even want to go against it. Somebody like me is too radical. They don't want no parts of it because they didn't actually seen people get hurt, killed, or whatever for having those views.
Right. You know? Right. It's a mechanism it's like a trigger, like a fight or flight type of trigger.
Yeah. So they just
you start talking crazy.
They're like, I'm done. I'm tapped out. So we got a lot to fight, man. I'm gonna post a powerful text I got today from a she's not a single, well, she's a single mother, but she's raising 4 other foster kids now, and she was just. I mean, I'm gonna only post one, but she sent me like 6 or 7 of them, just talking about the house of resources, the need for it, how the government ain't there. We need to be able to depend on our own self for our own problems, and it's just the community. Everything that I think to myself, sometimes you can think to yourself, but you be like, people just don't get it. And I think now more and more I talk about it, they starting to get it. Like, hold on, he right. You know what I'm saying? He might sound a little aggressive, he might sound a little crazy, but he's right. And that's why I say we got to make these continuous, man. And these conversations got to be normalized to regular. And we're gonna have regular sit downs, regular conversations at the House of Resources. We'll be having the community coming in, and we're gonna put it in front of their face. We're gonna put that mirror in front of everybody, and we're gonna have to check ourselves. And that's the first thing. Accountability to yourself. If I'm more accountable to you, because I'm accountable to myself. I want to be the greatest black man I can be. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be the straight up businessman I can be. That don't do nothing but help me enhance being a good friend to you. You know what I'm saying? Right. And if we all do that, and it all goes down the line, we good. We good, because we all accountable to that person in the mirror first. And then as long as you're accountable to that person, you got to be accountable to the next person, because you'll let that person in the mirror down.
Right. And that
creates man. I know you got to get to the, you know what I'm saying? We 12 minutes over. You know how we chop it up. Go in a minute. Like, hold on, man. You understand me? You already been gone since 7 this morning.
Man, you right.
But man, another powerful conversation, man. Like I said, I love having these conversations with you, man. And let's get together. Like I told Jared was like, man, what can we do to help this House of Resource? I'm like, man, the money is great, but if we could sit down and plot out stuff and set up stuff, that's more powerful, because to me that's resources. That's us. If we set up and we got y'all coming in so many days a month or whatever with y'all schedule stuff, to me that's impactful. Now we got something to look for, because that's feeding the community. And like I told them, the money is cool, but as long as we got like-minded individuals like us bouncing ideas off each other, we're going to get to the money regardless, because it's just impossible for us to chop it up too long without getting to some kind of money. So it ain't even money first. It's really more of the relationship, more of the building up. What can we do to help the community? Because what I always say, impact is going to bring the income. So we figure out how to impact this community, the money going to trickle in. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I want to salute you again, man. We stay consistent. We showing up every week, even if it ain't on a Wednesday. We figured out what day we can get it in, man. But I want to salute you. You keep doing your thing, King, and I'll be talking to you in the next couple of days, man.
All right, for sure.
Love, man. You have a good night. Thank you, everybody that tapped in with us, and we'll check y'all next week on Realer Than Real Estate. We out.